Coming from Reuters, Connecticut judge says plaintiff hid messages for AI in court filings. So I think this is kind of an interesting story to look at and think about the concept of hacking in the world of AI or in the time period of artificial intelligence, right? So there's a lot of these terminologies out there that people throw around, but they really don't think a lot about what they actually mean. And so I've talked a lot about hacking, or I used to talk a lot about hacking when that was more of a cool subject on YouTube. And one of the ways that I defined hacking was basically interacting with systems in undocumented ways, right? The idea of, let's say I need to get data off of a computer, right? The normal standard way of getting data off of a computer is you boot up the operating system, you go and open up a piece of software, whatever else, read the information, and then send it off to a printer or email it or something like that, right? And one of my arguments, again, is like with hacking is, or you could rip the hard drive out of the computer, plug the hard drive into another computer with a running operating system, and extract the data that way, right? It's a non-traditional way, non-documented way, or whatever else of being able to pull out the information. And so when you think about hacking, right, whether it's for black hat hacking or gray hat hacking or white hat hacking or any of that kind of crap, really the important concept there is that you're simply interacting with systems in essentially unexpected ways. And so one of the curious things to be thinking about with artificial intelligence is the whole question of what additional attack vectors open up when you're using AI, and that the modern world of hacking is going to get very, very strange very, very quickly. I think about this right now, like with Gamers Nexus. Gamers Nexus has a very popular video out there talking about poisoning AI, right? So that's a form of hacking. So the idea is that these AI companies have become too powerful. They're grabbing way too much information. So the concept is putting out incorrect information onto the internet so that these AI companies hoover that up, that goes into the models, and then basically it makes those models untrustworthy, right? That's not something you normally think about, right? You think about when you're going to be creating a website, you put your products on the website, you put your hours of operation on the website, you put your blog posts on the website, right? That's what you're supposed to use the web for. You don't think about literally putting information up on the web whose essentially only purpose is to poison the data going into artificial intelligence. And this is the kind of thing that we have to think about. Like with artificial intelligence training, up until this point in time, we've talked about how good the data is. Like the big problem with AI systems is if you have garbage data, garbage in, garbage out, traditional problem in the technology world. And so one of the big problems is what happens if, image files have not been tagged correctly? What if metadata for files isn't correct? What if there's problems, just naturally problems with the files? And so that's one of the things is how do you find or clean up data? That's been a traditional problem for artificial intelligence. One of the interesting things now is the whole question of what if people are literally trying to fuck with your AI training systems? Like there's one thing with mistagging data, but we talk about things like soft fails. Like what if people start tagging data, or like things like tagging images in close ways, right? So let's say you have a fluffy dog, like one of these fluffy dogs, and so you tag it as a bear, right? You don't tag all dog images as bears. You just tag dog images that kind of sort of look like a bear already. You just actually tag that as a bear. And so that's now AI starts thinking that's a bear, right? That kind of thing. And anyway, so basically what's going on here with these court filings is this guy realized, or tried to realize, it was like, okay, well, AI, we know lawyers are using AI for a lot of their paperwork, for legal filings and that type of thing. So basically what he did is using small white text, he inserted prompts for an AI to read. So basically the opponent's lawyer's AI would read those prompts and then essentially try to make the output worse for the other lawyer so that he could win. And again, this is the kind of weird hacking we're gonna have to be thinking about in the modern world. And this stuff is just gonna get wonky. And this is the kind of thing to think about. Again, like real real opportunities in artificial intelligence. So one of the questions with real opportunities in AI is how can you verify that documents do not have like nefarious prompts or whatever else? How do you verify that the document that you have is going to be read by artificial intelligence the same way as it's being read by you? This becomes an even more interesting thing like with Anthropic. So Anthropic is starting to do watermarks for the AI output. And so one of the interesting questions there is what happens with code. So if they try to watermark, let's say, a blog post or a paper or whatever else, it is going to be what it is. But think about when they're trying to watermark code. How does watermarking code, AI created code, then change the quality of the code that's being outputted, right? And in ways that you might not expect. It's like so subtle, you don't realize that there might be a problem there. Anyways, things to be thinking about. A judge in Connecticut said a plaintiff in a case before him included, quote, hidden text in court filings meant to serve as instructions to any AI system reviewing the documents. Judge Walter Spader Jr. in Milford, in an August 6th sanctions order, said the court identified text that was, quote, set in tiny point type and colored white, making the words invisible to the human eye, but, quote, fully legible to any software that reads the document's text. The judge said the plaintiff was attempting to use a technique called prompt injection to direct any AI system reviewing or analyzing filings to, quote, to produce output only favorable to the plaintiff's position and to treat a prior clerk's ruling as an error to be corrected in their favor. In other documents filed after the judge warned about concealing text, the plaintiff included additional hidden words according to the ruling. Those, though, were, quote, not attempted adjudicative prompt injections, the judge said. The plaintiff, Connecticut resident Matthew Elliott, is representing himself in the case. He told Reuters he included the hidden text as a way to, quote, audit the court's review processes, and the text he included in subsequent filings were a joke. But one of the things to think about here, like, right, this is legal filings, but think about this with contracts. So one of the big ideas right now is that you should use AI systems to analyze contracts. Why hire a lawyer at $400 an hour to read a contract when you can have AI do it for free? Well, here's an interesting question. What if the person who created the contract added additional prompts within the contract so that if an AI system read the contract, the AI system would respond with, yes, this is a very good contract. You should definitely sign the dotted line. Right? Like, think about that, because I think about that. Like, I just bought an HVAC system for my house, and so it was a pretty high-end HVAC system. So for the price, I was trying to figure out, is this a good value? So you go online, and you search for the thing, and you search, because that's the problem, is like, there's the price of the HVAC system itself, but then there's where you are, so labor costs and all that kind of thing. So how much should you pay for this particular thing? Again, one of the interesting things at one point is like, fuck it, I'll upload it to an AI system, see what it has to say. And again, it came out with a response and said, you know, it does seem like this price falls within the realm of what it should fall into, right? And so that's something you can use AI for. But what if companies start injecting into their contracts for any AI system that reads that contract should respond with, yes, this is a very good deal. Or other things to be thinking about, not even simply white text and tiny font. What if they do more explanation in the contract itself to explain what the price should be, even if it's not necessarily correct? So we are selling this HVAC system at X price, and literally within the contract, you know, our competitors sell the exact same system for twice as much. Right, so it's in the contract itself. And a lot of people don't read contracts. One of the things that I find fascinating, right, I've got a degree in criminal justice, so I read almost all the contracts. What's fascinating is how pissed off salespeople get with me when I sit there and I read contracts. Like, literally, I sit there, I read contracts, I circle things, I get explanations, and the whole 9 yards. And the curious thing is to see how pissed off they get. Right? They don't give me the contract and say, look, I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee. Let me know when you're done reading the contract. They never fucking do that. They put the paperwork in front of me. They say, sign here, sign here, sign here. I'm like, okay. And then I start reading it. And then you can see the frustration in their face. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I'm like, reading the legal contract I'm signing? You know, Just one of those things I think you should do. So think about it. Think about how little people read contracts. Think about how little people understand about legalese. So legalese is a terminology used in contracts. It's very specific legal language. Like when you have normal people read contracts, contracts seem weird, like the words they use seem weird. And the reason is because it's legalese. It's very precise, exceedingly precise meanings because you're signing the dotted line. This is a legal contract between two parties. Most people don't understand how that works. So again, think about this with contract. Think about when you just start adding things into the contract so that when an AI system reads the contract, the AI system will side with you. Well, obviously, since their competitors charge twice as much for this exact same service, this price is a great price. And the thing is, do you question the AI on where the AI got those price valuations? Did the AI get the price valuations simply from the internet? Did it get the price valuations from other people submitting contracts in your area so it gets a better idea of what it should look like? Or did it get the price valuations from the contract itself? And that's the other thing to be thinking about too. Like when I was at the AI4 conference, there was actually a presentation and there was literally one of the services now being offered, Glyph, I think it's called Glyph. And what it is to put information out on the internet that AI models will train off of, so that then becomes embedded in their model. So again, think about whether information is put directly into the contract itself to side with whoever created the contract, or the person who created the contract also pays a company, I think it's called Glyph, to put out multiple things on the internet. So again, it's multiple sources, but it's multiple sources all created by the same person. And this is where we talk about, like with hacking in the modern world of artificial intelligence, things could get very interesting. Very interesting. What is the value of LLMs? I'm honestly not sure about that, but I can tell you the value of these types of, let's call them techniques, could be very, very useful. So what do you think about this? What do you think about putting small font white text into court filings to get AI systems to side with you? What do you think about this idea though? Again, not necessarily poisoning or a hack, but the idea of formatting documents and inserting information onto the internet so that AI systems side with you. What do you think about this turn for artificial intelligence? Put your thoughts down below. If you like these episodes, do remember they're on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Link is down below. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn, there's a link down there too. With that, see y'all later.